This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Tom, good morning. Thanks as always for joining us early on. Coach talked about the open competition between Cade Fortin and Malik Hornsby if KJ Jefferson wasn't to go. How do you think he handled that question yesterday?
Well, I guess truthfully, because both Fortin and Hornsby now have had a start, and neither one of them got off to a particularly productive start in those games. Hornsby got a little bit more leash than Fortin did. There's a amount of pressure that comes with being the QB1, and KJ Jefferson obviously has been able to handle that, but the guys beyond him, you can think what you want about Malik, but I think if he's a guy who goes into the season thinking he might be the starter, and tailoring stuff around him, I'm sure he'd be more productive. And also, every team does not have a Harold Perkins, who clearly was the spy in that game, and it was stunning to watch Malik Hornsby break the pocket and try to get to the edge, and a guy be able to track him down. Not once, but he did it 2 or 3 times, like Drew Sanders did back in the spring. So, it's hard to have 2 quarterbacks of the same magnitude. I mean, think about Alabama back when they had Mac Jones. There was a time they had Tua, Mac Jones, and Jalen Hurts, I think, all on the same roster. Very, very rare to be able to do that because your backup guys think they should be starting somewhere. So it's a tough deal, and thinking beyond 2022 at Arkansas quarterback position, what does KJ do? He has another year of eligibility, actually 2. What does Hornsby do? And you probably do want to take a look at the portal, I think.
Tom, has Malik Hornsby hit his ceiling as the quarterback at Arkansas? From what
I don't know that. He's had one start. He had a fairly productive backup appearance against Mississippi State. One start that he did not do well on a cold situation against LSU, and then he had a good bit of a half against UAPB where the offense just didn't seem in sync. So, like I said a moment ago, if he's in the competition to be the number one, a real competition to be the number one guy, I think you'd see more production from him.
Everybody's focused on KJ Jefferson and his health and his potential return this week. What about Dalton Wagner? I know Coach talked on that yesterday. That was a huge loss for Arkansas to not have him in the lineup. What's the update there, Tom?
Yeah, the times that Tykees Crawford did not have a little help, it was a tough sledding against Perkins. He had an under move around a corner move that I don't know how many guys in college football can do that, but there are not many. The second to last breakup he had was an unbelievable move, and that's the one where Rocket Sanders hit Crawford on the hip. The other one, just pure speed. And all in all, Sam Pittman said Crawford did not have a bad day. Take away that play. I wrote on this some today. Wagner was at practice. It was in Spiders yesterday, inside. I saw him doing stretching stuff and, bending down, and his back seemed okay. They haven't been completely open about exactly what it is with his back. He's had it before, but based on yesterday, I would think that he would maybe improve it during the week and be ready to go from what I saw.
You look at the practice times, and I was just pulling the schedule back up that we were sent yesterday. Do you think this will be a week knowing what the weather forecast is? Yesterday Coach met with the media at noon. They had practice viewing late in the afternoon. They did practice kind of early evening, late afternoon. Is this a week where you adjust to more game time type conditions, try to acclimate to the cold, not practice inside, get out in the elements? How would you approach practice this week knowing the pending forecast for Saturday night?
Right. Well, I guess it depends on what the fields look like after the snow, and how big of a thing it is to clear it off. It was warmer in the building for sure, and it was a snow shower coming down during the practice, and I don't think it would have been very productive at all to have been out there in it because it was a really wet snow shower. So maybe today they'll think about it, or if things dry up on Wednesday or Thursday, then maybe you do get outside because, I mean, for whatever edge that might give you over Ole Miss, I don't think, and I tried to look on the weather today, I don't think Oxford got it as, it's as cold or whatever down there. And did talk to Sam Pittman about that a little bit yesterday, and he did think the cold played a role in the low scoring and all that last week. And I don't doubt that, handling the ball and things like that next week could be, in this game, could be impacted by the cold.
He told you the colder the better, Tom, when you asked him that at the tail end of the press conference. The colder the better.
He sure did. He said, I hope we have a freeze out, I believe. So,
well, he's going to get it.
And, I don't doubt that helped Arkansas some. LSU just not used to those conditions. And if they had, been able to get a little something going offensively, LSU would have had to open it up more and ostensibly open it up more. And who knows, they might get another mistake out of Jaden Daniels. I mean, when you think of Jaden Daniels and his performances this season, and like, wow, he's Heisman Trophy talk guy. Not on Saturday, he wasn't. I mean, he looked like a very average quarterback with the 7 sacks. He had a couple where he broke pocket and gained yards, but one of his early throws was a pick. He said it slipped out of his hands to Breeny. So I've no doubt the weather and the cold affected LSU.
We're talking with Tom Murphy this morning, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, Whole Hog Sports. So Jaden did not have a good game against you. Jackson Dart coming off a game against Alabama where he felt like some certain things should have gone his way. How do you keep this guy in check in the addition to having Quinshon Judkins and Zach Evans as running threats? How do you keep the quarterback in check, Tom?
Well, I mean, you got to have a linebacker who, I don't know if you say spy on him, but, devoted to if the guy breaks the pocket. Drew Sanders comes to mind. Pooh Paul comes to mind. Those guys have some speed, and Bumper could do some of that as well. But this is a power run attack, and I was just fascinated last year at this time when on the SEC call, Lane Kiffin basically credited this style of offense to Art Briles and said that everybody thinks of it as spread, wide open, passing, and all. No, this is about power running, and Kendall Briles does the same stuff. And the quarterback is an extension. I mean, and this guy Dart, tall guy, he's got a little speed to him and some elusiveness and power, kind of like KJ. So that is, and they've got a good passing attack to go along with it. This is a game that I felt like if they're going wide open, it would be tough for Arkansas to slow them down. That's why I think weather conditions and the fact that they're playing with more confidence after last week, they can get off the field a good number of times. And if KJ's back and they can move the ball, they'll have a chance to win this game.
What have you thought about the adjustment of Barry Odom moving down to the field?
Well, the first game was Mississippi State, and, tough situation, no KJ Jefferson. But since then, it feels like it's been working. And Sam Pittman did go into detail about how you can make the adjustments to what you're doing in person. Like you can explain it to their face and not over a phone or the headsets. So that does help. What it takes away from is Barry Odom's immediate seeing what formations they're doing and how to make the adjustments from the air with his own eyes. But they trust the people they have in the box, and so they're going to stick with that for the near future. And as Sam Pittman pointed out, we went 9-4 with Barry in the box last year. So I think it's more about all the injuries they had in the secondary, being able to make the immediate fixes down on the field, with everybody around and not just one person. So it's been productive for them.
Saturday will be senior night, and it will be the final game for several, Razorbacks. First one that comes to mind for me is Bumper Poole, a guy that has set the career tackles record and probably has been more or less the heart and soul of your team, and particularly on defense the last couple of years, Tom. This will be their final home game for this senior class.
Yeah, and it's been an interesting, good one. Poole, Wagner. There's some more like Isaiah Nichols, but then you also say, well, which of these guys I know Poole is playing his COVID year, and so is Wagner, but Nichols and there's some more, transfers, defensive line, who could come back. I mean, like Simeon Blair's and guys like that. So you can't keep doing that, or your numbers are gonna be off kilter on bringing in talent. But they had a huge number do that in 20, and then a decent number this year. 21, and a decent number this year. And I would expect a handful of guys to do the same thing in 2023.
It's basically who are they going to invite back? I think who are they going to select to come back?
Yes, that's exactly right. And I'm drawing a blank right now on Eric Gregory is one that Sam Pittman mentioned by name. He did it on his radio show, and then I asked him the following week, "Are there others?" And he said, "Oh yeah, several more." And so really, it's just the roster makeup now is the most complicated that it's ever been, because you have that component, you have the portal, you have guys who may not be happy with their playing time, and so every year you're going to have a pretty good outflux, and then you got to patch it together when it's time, in December, and then as the year goes into 2023. Adding new guys through the portal.
And I think, 23 high school commits they have at this point? Some number like that.
Sounds right.
I think 23 is the number. So, yeah, it's a math equation. It's a balancing act to get all that to work.
Football is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.